All right, folks, we're back here, baby. Fired up. We're here for Iowa Hot Minute. Iowa Hot Minute. Hawkeye Terry on the line here.
Hawkeye Terry right here.
Terry.
Yes. Although, Terry, if you can pull that string a little harder, put the cup up to your ear. I know what's going on. By the way, Terry, that phone is a little cracky. Going cracky. We're going to tolerate it, though, because I want to ask you about this. Everything's going on with Iowa. What the? Losing the Bassetts. Thought they had the Rainies in the back pocket. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, it has not been a great offseason. Iowa really needed to score in that 2026 class, which was a really special class with Jax, the Rainies, really a special class. And they really needed to land both Rainey's, Bo, and Melvin Miller to keep pace with Oklahoma State and Penn State. They're going to make it up a little bit in the 2027 class, but that class just does not measure up, especially, high ceiling guys. I think they're going to land, a couple guys that could maybe fill in, the gap some. Hopefully, we can land the Bachman brothers or Israel Borg or somebody along those lines. But, yeah, that was pretty crushing. And then, when Bo exited, it really was crushing. So.
Yeah, Terry, who do you think Iowa is really working hard? Now they got supposedly $5 million that they didn't have to pay off to the Bassetts. They got some money in their back pocket to go out and get some studs. Who do you think they're working hard on? Are they working hard on the Bachmans, or where are they going?
Well, they're focusing on the 33, 41, 49 range, and Willie has flat out stated he thinks we're going to get a couple guys in the weight territory of Amato. They already landed Amato for 57. So I think the names are Jesse Grajeda, he's a 41 from California. Israel Borg, he's probably a 41-49 from Missouri. He wrestled in Utah also. The Kenny brothers, I'm a little bit concerned that Kenny is a little small for 33, and then the Bachman brothers. And, it's really hard to read where these kids are going to land weight-wise because they're so far out. I think the Bachman brothers have pretty high upside. I'd really like to land them. I don't see them now that Ohio State flipped Mills. I just don't really see that they have. Maybe they fit. I don't know. I would keep an eye on with Missouri on the Bachman brothers. So.
Well, I'm going to jump in if nobody else. Just jump in, guys. But I got a
quick question.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If Terry can't hear me, just repeat. What does he think about the whole situation with Nate? I can't pronounce the last name. Jesuroga, the kid
Jesuroga.
the huge recruit that Iowa got, and then he decided to go to the Navy, and now he's might wrestle for Navy.
Long list of recruiting disappointments. He was, a couple years ago, Willie had him number 3 pound for pound. He was a cadet bronze world kid. He had beaten Jax. He had lost to Jax. He had beaten Aiden Valencia. He'd beaten Ben Davino. The kid was the truth.
Yeah, that one stung.
And he got a concussion his senior year. And, he had to hold out for quite a while. And he just I think he kind of enjoyed not wrestling. And I think he kind of fell out of love with wrestling. And, I think the kid was searching a little bit. He had a head injury that can affect your thinking, and he decided he wanted to be a SEAL, and I'm not sure that was a great plan since he admitted in the interview that he wasn't a great swimmer, which is just a recipe for failure in the SEAL program. I actually commanded a Special Forces selection course.
What
in the Air Force. So I'm pretty familiar with the requirements, and the washout rates on Special Forces are in the 80%, 90%. And so he washed out, and now he's looking to get into the Air Force Academy, And I'm not that optimistic that he's still going to have it for a couple reasons. It seems to me he's using wrestling as an avenue to get into the Air Force Academy versus going into the Air Force Academy as an avenue for wrestling. And then you got to ask yourself, what weight class can he hold? He wasn't very tall. He would have been the starting 125 for Iowa this year and this past year. And then he would have probably eventually moved up to 33 when DeLuca's ready to go. And, I think best case scenario, he probably could make 141, but he might be a 149. I just don't see that probably being that successful. And then you got to ask yourself, 2-3 year layoff, if he just loses 10 or 15% of his abilities, there is really a fine line when you get into the upper echelons of Division I wrestling, and shaving 15% off a kid's talents could really, really be a rough go. I just don't see it. I hope it goes well for the kid. I like the kid, but I just kind of think he's searching right now. He's young, and I think he's searching for his niche.
Okay.
Look,
I'm going to ask a question right here, Terry.
Yeah.
Change subjects a little bit. I don't know if this is true, but there's rumors around there that like Angelo and even I forget Gabe Arnold have been kind of handling Ndini in practice. And there's speculation that in the real, how Tom doesn't like to lose duels. And there's speculation that in the very tight duels, we may see Gabe go 84 and Angelo get moved up to 97. Is that any truth? Or what's your thoughts there?
That's kind of what I've heard. I've heard that, and Dean's been getting kind of handled by those two. And to be honest with you, I never really viewed Dean as other than a stopgap solution, to get to Ludington. I really wanted Rocky Elam. It kind of sounded like Elam had a deal worked out with Iowa State before he even hit the portal. And I know there was people that were pretty high on Dean, including Willie, but I think you're likely to see that in duels that when the duel is on the line. And there could be a lot of duels on the line, by the way, with Oklahoma State, with Nebraska, with Iowa State. And you're absolutely right. Tom does not like to lose duels. Division I wrestling would be better if everybody viewed things like Tom did on duels. But yeah, he does not like losing duels. So I definitely think you will see that with Gabe Arnold at 84 and Angelo at 97. Now, you can't do it too often because Angelo's got to build up his resume at 184 for seeds. So you got to be a little bit selective in it. And I think it'll just, when a duel's on the line, it'd probably be those three duels I named, probably the most likely.
Yeah. Although maybe the Ohio State duel.
Yeah, and Minnesota too. I mean,
that's true. I don't think Tom would move Angelo up to wrestle Barr. But
no, plus that duel will probably be out of hand by that point anyway.
I don't know. The other day you sent a link out, and it was Corey Clark, and you heard this little dude. I got to tell you, Tom's wrestlers love Tom and Terry. There's no doubt whatsoever about that. But we pick on the brands, but they're great for wrestling, and obviously they're doing a very good job. Did Kevin freeze? No, he didn't. He still well. I thought Kevin froze over there. I thought, Zach, you're gonna have to. Anyway, Terry, what's your? Do you see Iowa getting a runner-up trophy this year, or?
Look, they got a good team. But again, the standard is just being raised so high right now. I mean, I've mentioned this before that, the championship teams under Gabe had holes in them. When I watch old duels, they had sometimes multiple weight classes that were just flat holes. You can't have a hole anymore, not with what Penn State's doing right now. Even Penn State had holes a couple years ago. Yeah. They don't anymore. Yeah. And Oklahoma State's pulling in recruits right and left. Iowa's got a very good team. But, Nebraska's a real threat for second. Depending on who Oklahoma State wrestles, they could be a threat. Intermat has Iowa State ranked ahead of Iowa.
Ouch.
Ohio State, too. Ohio State's going to be real tough, too. Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, but here's the thing we all got to remember is everyone's going to be jumping around. So we want to put such finality on Iowa lost all these guys and they went to Oklahoma State or over here or over there, and Tom lost them. Tom very well may end up like Melvin Miller could be a Iowa Hawkeye, as far as we know. I mean, you just don't know. And the way the kids jump around nowadays, and you can offer a little money over here, and I mean, it's a fluid thing. Nothing is permanent, and we don't know how it's all going to shake out. We do know this: the brands don't like to lose, and they'll do whatever it takes to not lose. Yeah. I do respect that about them.
I think the Melvin Miller ship has sailed. I think I just think that fallout was not pretty, and I just think that's not that bell's not going to be unrung there.
Yeah.
So, but I was talking about holes. We touched on one hole. I think 197's going to be a bit of a hole, but it kind of sounds like Jordan Williams is definitely going 157. So, that leaves a opening of 149. And I've heard Estrada's banged up for semester. So, he might be out of the picture on the early running, which means the two Voinovich brothers, along with Ryder Block, will be competing for that 49 slot. So, a lot of people on the Iowa boards are high on Ryder Block. I just need to see him get off bottom before I'm a believer in him. Me personally, I would probably lean towards Victor Voinovich winning that job, and he'd be a pretty solid solution. And at least they have three options at that weight class. But it's kind of interesting that Williams chose to move up because it's a much tougher pathway at 157, in my opinion, than it would have been at 149 with Kazak and Shapiro and Cardenas. And Ty Waters is moving up to 157. That's four guys right there, Dave, that are probably going to be tough for him to finish ahead of.
I know one thing: at these national duels, most likely we're going to see a semi of Iowa versus Oklahoma State. We get to see that again. We may get to see it twice this coming year. On paper, as we get closer to these national duels, we're going to have to get you back on and give what your thoughts are.
Periodic hot Hawkeye minutes with Terry.
Yeah.
Just tell us anytime you got something to update us from a blog or wherever you get your info, Terry. Let us know. It don't have to be long. We'll go 5 minutes. Yeah. Just update the world.
Oh, I love your stuff, Terry. Yeah. And it's, of course, Iowa, to this day, I consider my favorite team's biggest threat. That's a compliment. And so, obviously, I hate Iowa. But I got to say, I do like a lot of their fans, cool fans. I even like a Cornell fan or two out there. But not that many of them. They're usually snobby. Cornell, Ivy League guys.
I have a question for you, Wayne. What do you think of Deshaun Ross showing up to Iowa's recruiting shindig?
It makes me think that he doesn't have football out of his head yet. And as a guy that played football and wrestled, Kevin, you did the same, right? Football and
Dude,
wrestling?
yeah, and I'll tell you what, man. Every football season, I got that itch. When I went to college, I didn't play football in the fall, and I was freaking out. I was like, I had that itch to play, and that's what he's going through right now in football season. He's getting that itch.
Terry, did you play football?
I played college football.
Oh. Whoa, we're talking a
Hot dog.
whole nother level here. Wow.
He won
Probably
the
at
Heisman.
Iowa.
How about
He won the
wrestling?
Heisman. What are you talking about?
I never wrestled because my school was too small. They never had it.
Oh, so you took up boxing or something, didn't you? You were you took up boxing or something when.
Yeah, a little bit, and I did take a little wrestling class at Northern Iowa, but yeah, I kind of have the same impression as you did. You know, he wasn't there. It was the same weekend Iowa's wrestling recruiting was going on, but their football recruiting is also there, and he was on a football pass. He wasn't on a wrestling pass.
Wow.
And
Well,
he was there with several teammates from Fort Dodge. A couple of them committed, and I just kind of, now maybe it's nothing. Maybe he was just killing time with his teammates and decided to come. But to me, I think, just like Kevin said, I think there might be a itch going on during football season, and you know, Tom prioritized Michael Mako during the recruiting, and that may turn out to be a stroke of genius because, you know, we just lost both Rainey's, we lost Bo, we lost Melvin Miller. If we'd have lost Deshaun Ross, if he would have been our target,
yeah.
it would have been pretty. I mean, it's devastating enough, but so I think Tom might have been smart targeting Mako in that whole deal.
Yeah, I agree. I know one thing as a former wrestler and football player. Kevin, you probably say the same thing. Football is what I missed the most. Football was just flat out fun. Wrestling was more of a job. But
Well, and if you're comparing football programs, Iowa just beat Penn State last week.
Bang! Yeah.
Franklin gone. You think Kale's a little nervous?
Yeah. Hey, Hawkeyes, enjoy that.
They're paying
Won't
Franklin
be quite
like
as fun come February or January, wherever. But come on, Terry, talk some smack.
I don't know. Penn State might not be able to afford recruits for a while after paying Franklin $50 million to do nothing now.
You know what? How crappy of a coach do you have to be where they're like, we're paying you $50 million to not coach our team. Just stay away.
I mean, yeah, that's. I don't know if that's the greatest business decision. Unless you just got so much money you don't care. But
Terry, we're going to be checking in with you regularly. Your phone is clicky.
It's only clicking when you're talking. At least on my end, I don't know what's going on with my phone.
we gotta get him. Why can't he just call in?
Because he doesn't have a smartphone.
It's
I'm
just
gonna spring for one of those. I keep talking about that. I'm gonna
Does he
actually
need
do
to have
it.
video?
Well, it depends. Keep the horse fed. That way, when you take the horse and buggy into town, and maybe Verizon will be open or something. Or no, Walmart's got cheap phones. Nah, I'm just picking, Terry.
Yeah, I gotta pull that trigger. I got my tech guy back in town. He was living in Malaysia there for a while, so I got my tech guy back in town. I'll get hooked up.
We will be keeping up to date with you though, and it's really good talking with you. Either of you guys got any final questions for Terry before we?
Yeah, we will in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah.
Terry, thank you for all your research and everything. I will say this. Everything you kind of say or speculate about, you turn out to be right. So whenever you say
All the
something,
time.
my ear is tilted. I got to give it to you.
Yeah, I do kind of get a lot of those right, and I'm hearing there's going to be a recruit dropping for Iowa here soon. So
Bang, bang.
Bang,
He heard it.
bang.
and it's somebody that was that Super 32 that finished high.
Oh. Yeah.
So-
Tom's working on the 7th place finisher at 126. No, I'm just kidding.
I bet he's called
Oh,
Burrow's
damn.
son. I bet he's called. You see, Jordan Burrow's little son
Oh,
came back,
yes,
came
yeah.
back and got third after losing his first match. Kevin, did you see that?
Oh, really?
Jordan Burrow's
Wow.
son.
I
Lost
didn't
his
know
first
that.
match, came far all the way back, dude.
Wow.
Got some dog in him over there.
I remember Burrow said at one point, look, my kid's not very good yet. He was very honest and upright.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's
Yeah.
getting better because that is officially
Yeah.
the toughest high school tournament in the country. Am I wrong?
So tough.
Yeah.
No, it's the toughest.
Yeah.
And he beat I think he beat the third, fourth, fifth ranked guy.
To get third in that tournament is crazy. But yeah, he goes, it's not like people would say like, I just beat Jordan Burrow's son. And he goes, it was so unfair he's like, it's unfair to my son, It's like,
Yeah,
he,
dude.
he didn't beat me, he beat my son. But he goes, he'll be okay because he's got me to coach him. So he'll be okay.
And Terry, one final thing before we go. I guess Kueter kind of gave up football, didn't he?
Well, I'm kind of wondering about that because I haven't heard. He clearly isn't going to play this year, otherwise he don't be playing. He had the hip labrum surgery, so maybe that's why he just sat out. But I'm hearing he's full go. I've heard he's in the practice room going full speed. And that was about a month ago, so I think he's full go. So I don't know if the hip labrum surgery was why he decided to sit another year, but hopefully some of his performance or lack thereof, which I was kind of highly critical of, hopefully that was related to hip labrum, because he didn't shoot a lot, and he had some issues on bottom, and hopefully we'll see a different Kueter this year. But if we don't see a different Kueter this year, I'm ready to declare, not meeting expectations. But
We may get to see this in November, but give me a Kueter Bastida score right now. You have to give.
that's an interesting match. Now, Bastida handled him last year, and then another one is a Kueter AJ score. That'd be another.
Yes,
interesting.
that's right.
Because neither one of those guys are dominating size-wise on Kueter. So, I mean, he really doesn't have any, like Stevenson, he had kind of an excuse, and Stevenson and also Hendrickson. But, those two guys are right in his wheelhouse size-wise. So, be interesting on see if he elevates this year.
Well, I got to pee.
All right.
Let's call it.
Appreciate it, Terry. We'll be back, folks.
Terry, we'll be talking with you. Kevin,
Thanks, Kevin.
appreciate you coming on.
Good to see you guys. Good to hear
back
from you,
soon.
Terry.
All right. See ya.